Hi, welcome to another episode of Mom Does It All. If you're looking for encouragement, empowerment, and uplifting in motherhood and mompreneurship, this is the show for you. I'm your host, Marta Spurk, triplet mom, certified success coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. In this episode, I'll be talking about how important it is to have people encourage you and give you tough love, which is essentially what I do, I think. I want to encourage you not to give up, to understand that tough times will come and that's okay. And also that getting organized is super, super important. Your life, everything that's going on outside of you is a reflection of what's going inside of you. So if it's a mess, then that's a huge indication of what's going on inside of you. So let's reflect on that. And I know I say it all the time, but I'm so grateful for you that listen to the show and support. And for all of you who have rated and reviewed the show, thank you so much. I want to start reading some of the reviews. Marta, a triplet mom, has a great perspective on finding balance, staying motivated, and doing the best we can with what we've got. I'm so glad to have found her podcast with great guests. Thank you so much, Amy Vague. If you haven't left a review yet, I would so love it if you did. It helps the show grow and other moms listen to this message. And real quick reminder, starting next week, I will be doing giveaways to partner up with other mompreneurs, showcase their product, and you get free stuff. So stay tuned and don't miss out. I always talk about how certain things keep coming up to me, and then that's usually what I do my solo episodes on, because I have been learning to be more aware of the signs, whether you want to say God or the universe, showing me what I need to pay closer attention to. And it's interesting because this happens to all of us, but we're usually not aware, and that's why we don't take advantage of it, right? There's opportunity in everything that you do, every person that you meet, everywhere that you go, but when you are very unaware of yourself and your surroundings, you don't take advantage of those things. And this is also something that I've been learning with the book that I'm reading. Hopefully you're not sick of hearing me say this, but May Cause Miracles by Gabby Bernstein, when she talks about how every relationship is an opportunity for growth, because every relationship has a potential of disappointing you and teaching you things, right? So not from a negative standpoint, but to say that everyone is different, which means we can learn a lot from each other, whether it is, from a good or a bad experience. And I have to say that what's been coming up for me a lot lately is encouragement and a little bit of tough love from different sources, from mentors, from people that I admire that aren't officially my mentors, but are people that, I'm learning from and that give me very, very valuable advice because they're experienced and, seasoned entrepreneurs and things like that. And, starting from this week's guest on the Mom Does It All podcast, which was Stacey Tushel. 16 years in business, has had different business ventures. And one of the main things that she said, and then I chose to be the beginning of the episode, the little snippet, was to say, the reason why I'm here was because I didn't give up. People don't see the everyday, the day-to-day struggles that someone on the road to success goes through, but it's there. And it's something that I talked about with a future guest. I'm going to be launching the episode next month, Stephanie Gass, which she's amazing, talking about just that, how people don't see the behind the scenes and all of the crazy things that you go through to get to where you are. And I have experienced so much growth with the podcast, and still there's lots of struggle in the behind the scenes. And I've been wanting to show more of this struggle to you guys, to be real and to show you that everyone goes through this. And even with being a triplet mom, and apparently people, think I am superwoman and that I do all kinds of things that they would never be able to do. It's like, oh, God chose you to be a triplet mom and not me because I couldn't handle it. And it's like, if you were in the situation, you would have no choice and you would have to handle it, And the other day, the sweet twin mama, I've known her from when we found out we were pregnant with multiples. I got added into this group on Facebook. I was still living in Brazil, and we created this little community of 30 mamas that we once in a while keep in touch with and share pictures and stuff on Facebook. And she tagged me on this post saying, when you're a twin mom and you're struggling and then you see a triplet mom and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what your life is like. Props to you. I'm not worthy. and then this other mom commented and said, I don't know how you do it. And she actually has twins and is pregnant with another set of twins. And I'm like, girl, you got this. And she was like, right now I'm struggling, and she's pregnant. And that got me thinking, it's like, we are all struggling at some point. We are all, even a few hours of the day, we're struggling. And, we want to just run away and sit on the beach with absolutely no noise and no one demanding anything of us. It's just, this, and it goes back to things that I've said before of how we look at other people's lives. The grass is always greener, right? It seems like they're so much happier and they have it all together, and they don't. So this is just a little reminder here, but I do want to dig a little bit deeper into what this whole thing of not giving up and has been coming up for me with different people that I've talked to, and especially seasoned entrepreneurs, telling me that you shouldn't be selfish. And because when you give up, when you have a mission of impacting people's lives and helping them, which is what I do with moms, when you feel discouraged, and this goes to anything, but using myself as an example, when you feel discouraged and you feel like quitting, it's more than just you, right? It's all of the people that could potentially be affected by what you're doing. And you being discouraged is actually a sign of selfishness, because you're not thinking about the people that you could reach if you just hung in there a little bit longer, And that's not to say that it's going to be an easy path. In fact, lots of people, I think because of the internet, or I don't know, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur these days, and they don't even know what that entails. And I feel like network marketing has a big part in this, because it paints a picture of something so easy that you can get into, very little overhead. But in essence, it is something that gets your feet wet for you to realize what being an entrepreneur really is. But it takes a lot for you to actually grow into being a CEO of your business. So, and that's something that I am very grateful for my experience with network marketing, because it, like I said, got my feet wet. But there's so much more that you need to learn. And then it starts getting hard and you're like, this is not what I signed up for. Not knowing that being an entrepreneur is hard and you will fail. And it's really a matter of getting to know yourself and getting to know if you have an entrepreneur bone in you, at all. And if you can make this work. And sometimes I second guess myself and my decision, because when it gets hard, that's what you do, right? Maybe I didn't make the right decision. That's everything in life, right? When it gets hard with kids, you're like, maybe I'm not supposed to be a mom, and this is not, what I was cut out to do. When your marriage gets hard, you think maybe this was not the right choice for me. Maybe I'm not meant to be with this person. And, at a job, at a friendship, anything, that's instantly what we go to, because when it gets hard, first instinct is, let's give up and try something else. But what we don't realize is that that's not going to solve the problem, because no one starts something new. Like, okay, you don't get married thinking this is going to challenge me more than anything in life. It's going to show me all of my weaknesses, all of the things that, in myself that I still need to work on. And that's exactly why I want to get married. Like, no one says that, but that's essentially what's going to happen. Right? Same thing with kids. No one says, I want to have kids because I want to be challenged beyond belief. I want to look at myself in the mirror and see all the things that I still need to work on, and how crap I am at organizing, like I'm talking about myself here, how crap I am at, being on time and managing my time, into thinking that, it's going to take me way a lot longer to get the kids ready and to get us in the car. And I need to prepare. Like, you don't think about this. And then when it comes, you get so frustrated, but it's because you are running into yourself, and that is tough. And the same is with starting a business, with, going into this entrepreneurial quest is you hit this wall. And the reason you hit this wall is because you don't have what it takes yet to overcome it. So you literally run into yourself. And that's where the whole concept of get out of your own way came into place, with me doing the challenge and creating a program that goes into self-sabotage, is because the reason why you are where you are right now is because of you. And it's so easy to blame so many people, but the fact of the matter is, you can only advance and grow and evolve if you're willing to look at yourself, if you're willing to admit your weaknesses and move past them and find tools to turn them into strengths, right? And so, especially when you go through this, because you're getting in terms of entrepreneurship, but with anything in life, with being a parent and with being married, it's hard when somebody else points out something that you kind of already know, but you're not willing to admit. And that's what the whole coaching process is too, that, you get a mentor, you get a coach, and they tell you, okay, you need to work on this. And it's something that maybe your husband has already told you, or, friends growing up, or your mom, and it's like, me, whatever, I can shut you out, but when you're paying someone and they tell you, you need to work on this, like this is really, really harming you, then it's like, dang it. It's kind of like a mix between feeling deeply offended that they were able to pinpoint that and that's really a problem that you need to work on. You can't ignore it any longer. And being grateful for their insight. So this is kind of like what I've been going through the past week in different areas of my life, not even just business. It's like running into myself again. It's like there are periods of time, and I guess it goes back to the whole highs and lows. You're like, oh my gosh, doing amazing, and then you hit the lows, usually because you realize you don't have what it takes to do something that you really, really want to do. And then it's a matter of that crossroads, right? Do I really want to push and stretch myself and get uncomfortable to get past this? Or will I just stay where I am because I can't deal the pain right now? I can't deal the pain of change right now. And so I really loved what Stacy said in our interview earlier this week when she said, all of us go through this. Even if you're super, super high up successful, you may have a lot of experience, but you don't have all of the experience. Everyone is going into the unknown at some point, right? Especially if you're seeking growth, right? Everyone, she's had 16 years of experience, but she said, I'm a 6-figure earner. I'm not a 7-figure earner. So I don't know what it takes to get there yet. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be the unknown. I'm going to struggle and I'm going to have to learn. So we all go through this. And for some reason, we have this illusion in our heads that once we reach a certain goal, then that's it. That's beautiful. Life is amazing and I'm not going to have to do anything anymore. And that's not true, because as long as you are alive, think about your body. Your heart can't do a little work here and then stop to rest, It has to work constantly as long as you're alive. And so as long as you're alive, you're going to have to be handling things because you're going to be growing and learning from them. If you're not wanting to grow and evolve, then that's not what looking alive looks like. You see what I mean? So that's why the whole thing of being grateful for your challenges is very, very relevant here. And if you haven't listened to that episode, you need to go check it out. I will, I don't remember what number it was, but I can put the link in the show notes for you to go listen to it, because it was a very powerful episode helping you understand that the struggle that you're going through right now, yeah, it's not pleasant, but you are certainly learning something from it. So instead of being ungrateful for this opportunity, for this challenge, and being resentful, you should be grateful because you choose your emotions, right? And so on that note, I want to talk about Marie Kondo. I finally bit the bullet, joined the Kondo train, and I watched the very first episode. I had seen lots of people obviously talking about it online and saying, I organized my closet. I have bags and bags of full of clothes that I'm going to go donate to Goodwill. And I was like, yeah, I really need to do that, but I'm not going to go there right now. And then finally, I told my husband, I was like, let's watch this and see if we can learn some techniques. Like, we don't have to do everything that she says, but maybe it'll be helpful. And guys, I cried watching the episode. Call me crazy, but it really spoke to me, because the very first episode, if you haven't watched it, and I encourage you to watch it, it's on Netflix. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's this Japanese lady. She's become quite big, and she's master of organizing people's houses. So at first we were thinking it was going to be like a hoarder show, but it's not. I haven't watched the other episodes, okay? So the very first one, I mean, if you look at their house, it doesn't seem like they have that much stuff. And it really reminded me of my house, because I don't feel like my house is it's super messy, like when you watch those hoarder shows, you know? There's just some storage areas, some of the closets, and it's because when you have kids, it makes it even harder, right? And this couple had little kids. But what I loved so much about this episode was that because they talked about how being disorganized was affecting their relationship. And this is something also that has come up for me in terms of my business. And one of my words for 2019 was and still is organization, that I need to get my head in the game and organize my business and organize my life. And see, here's the thing. You can't just be organized in one area, because the disorganization in the other areas of your life is going to affect the other areas, and it's going to keep you from achieving new things. And so I have been getting this message from, mentors and people that I admire, and it's something that I know I need to work on. And it's just, have been receiving more and more confirmation of, being more organized with my business means I need to be more organized with my house and with my family. And it's not always easy, and that's the challenge, because I have 3 kids, because Shane was working out of town, and it was just madness. And so I loved this message on the show, because it showed how they were drifting apart from each other, the couple, because they could not get a hold of organizing their house and their laundry and the kids' toys and everything. And I feel like that on so many levels with like my email inbox and all the projects that I have going on. And you start feeling overwhelmed because you created the overwhelm for yourself, okay? And the more you dread things, the more overwhelming it's going to get. And when you know you have to do something, why not make it a fun experience? Because you create your emotions. And so that's what Marie Kondo does. She says you have to make cleaning and organizing and folding the laundry something fun, so that your kids will want to do it too, and then they'll help you instead of getting in your way. And she even does other things that I feel like before I would have thought, this lady's crazy, this show is ridiculous. But now that I'm on this vibe of, getting really in touch with myself and being so aware of everything that I do, and, wanting to be so aware, it's obviously hard, but she had the lady put all of her clothes, like literally take everything out of every closet that she had and put it on her bed and go through every single piece of clothing, every item, and decide if that thing brought her joy, if she really needed that, or if she could let it go. And it was an emotional process for the girl, and I'm sure this would be for me too, and I need to do this. And she even went as far as saying, if you're going to let something go, say thank you. And don't just throw it, fold it and put it in. And, you might think that's so silly, but I really like that, because it shows that the way you do something, the way you do something is the way you do everything. So the way you're treating your house, the way you're treating your clothes, it says a lot about what's going on inside of you, And this is something that I've learned even in church. I remember one of the pastors that I interpreted for, he talked about this one neighbor of his that had his grass all the way, like it was as tall as the house, and everyone in the neighborhood complained. And he was using that as an example to say, the outside of your life looks like what's the inside. And this whole experience with Marie Kondo and everything that's been coming up for me with, not giving up, but also being more organized and staying on top of things, made me realize that it is true. So if your life is a freaking mess, guess what? That's probably what it looks like inside, because it is a reflection of you. And it's hard to admit that. It's hard to admit that if your desk looks nuts, if your sink is full of dishes and it's nuts, if you don't make your bed every day, it's not the end of the world. But it's not the end of the world if you eat McDonald's every day when you're eating it. But then a few months from now, it'll show. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with habit. Yeah, it's not the end of the world if I'm busy, if I'm late, if I'm in a hurry and I can't make my bed, but that says a lot about so many other habits and so many other things that you have going on in your life that you could change that would make your life so much better, but you're just not there yet. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share this with you guys and encourage you to take a very hard look at what's going on around you. And if it's overwhelming you, and if it looks like a mess, it's because there are things in you that you need to work on. And it's hard to realize that. It's hard to accept that. It's hard to admit that, especially when it comes from a stranger, right? And that's because it's something that you have to deal with. When it hurts really bad, it's because you need to deal with and you don't want to. But if you do, your life is going to be so much better. And I feel like I need to do my Get Out of Your Own Way challenge again. I was going to work on a self-assessment test for life purpose, and I still am, just lots going on. I have been lining up some speaking gigs to actually do live workshops with women locally, with moms, to talk about all of this and help them work through their emotions and their thoughts and become more aware and more empowered. And I am so excited for everything that's going on. But my message today for you was, first and foremost, go listen to my episode on why challenges are gifts and you should be thankful for them. Go check out Marie Kondo. If you watch just this first episode, you will see what I'm talking about and how important it is for you to get organized. Especially as moms, there's lots going on. Not to create pressure on you, because I know there's some days that you can't do stuff, right? But it's just understanding that your life is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So you have to do that inner work as well. And that's what I'm all about, right? If you want to connect with me and schedule a breakthrough call, I am more than willing to chat and to go through all of this, because I know how important it is to have somebody else take a look at your life and tell you certain things so that you can start making steps towards change. I so hope this helped you today. Get encouraged not to give up with whatever it is that you're trying to do. I actually had a mom contact me and say she's been training for a marathon and she was getting discouraged. And my message of don't give up, hard things take time, really encouraged her. So I hope this was an extension to that for you. And encouragement to get organized, to get your life together. I know it's not easy, but we need it, right? So connect with me. Mom Does It All _ on Instagram, Marcia Spurk on Facebook, join my Mom Does It All community, and let's get you encouraged and uplifted for another week, another month, right? Starting March. Be encouraged, moms. You're the best. Bye.